Hello guys, this is Cholera bringing you set 3 of Much versus Flash in the round of 8 of the World Cyber Games qualifiers, and I have to say this has been a very, very back and forth series. Last game, I think Flash threw the game away. That is my opinion. Flash went for a strange Medic Marine push after getting 2 factories and mines and siege tanks. Really bizarre build there, going for 2 factory into expansion and then going back for Academy. Really, it's a very audacious strategy, and I don't think it was a good strategy. It was audacious but stupid. It has been done, I've seen, against carrier builds. It has been done against a couple of builds, and Boxer used to do it quite frequently, but there's a reason why Boxer stopped doing it after the year like 2002, because Protoss can counter it so easily with Reavers, as Much did last game. In any case, in this game we are facing off on Andromeda. We're going to have Much here spawning in purple at the 5 o'clock, I'm sorry, at the 11 o'clock position, and Flash spawning in yellow at the 5 o'clock position. And Andromeda, I think, will probably favor Flash a little bit. Like I said, I think Flash is stronger in the late game than Much. Much is stronger in the mid game and the early game. If Flash decides to go for a fast expand, we could see Much trying to do something tricky like he did last game. Actually, last game he actually didn't do anything tricky. Sorry about that. He only went Reavers after going for Observers and getting an expansion. So I thought he was initially going for fast Reavers, but in fact he was just going for fast Observers and then picking up his natural. That is actually quite a successful Protoss build also. Fast Observers into Nexus. And Flash now, I think, is going to try to wall in here with a supply depot and a barracks in his front door. We'll see what Flash decides to do. If he decides to change his game up and go for some kind of 2 factory push here or something like that, I certainly hope he does not go for something absolutely insane like a Medic Marine rush last game. He's been doing that amazingly for the first 2 games of the series. He's had Medic Marines against Protoss, which is just absolutely insane. Another World Cyber Games and Olympics there, yeah. I hope I can live to the day in which pro gaming will be in the Olympics. I mean, esports will be in the Olympics. That would be just absolutely amazing. And we'll see if Flash decides to plant a supply depot there prematurely, or if this probe gets in for Much. Flash looks like he's not going to be planting that supply depot in time. Looks like, oh no, Flash does. Wow. So Flash, very smart there, stopping the production of his barracks to plant that supply depot. And a very, very good move there by Flash. Now the probe will not be able to get in, and Much's effort to try to scout will be stymied here. So very good move there by Flash. That's something we've been seeing from a lot of Terran players, and it's a good little move just to deny scouting for a little bit. So Flash trying to push away that probe. Nice work there. By the way, for those of you guys who've been... oh, and Flash takes out the probe. I thought the probe was going to take out the SCV, actually, but Much with a little bit of micro error there. Loses his probe. Wow. So for those of you who've been asking me where the Pro League finals are, I actually didn't cast them, and in fact, when Moletrap and Diggity and Klazard casted them, their recording didn't go very well, so it's not going to be on the Violent Attack account. Sorry for those who I told you, I thought it was going to be too. It actually has been casted by Psionic Reaver. Do check him out, he's in my subscriptions list. He's a very good commentator too at sc2g.com, and he's casted it both in English and Spanish, so shout out to him. The first bilingual cast I've seen from us so far. And early Zealot being built for Much. Once again, I'm not sure if this is a good idea, because the Zealot is not going to be able to do anything. Perhaps he's going to try to combine the Zealot with a Dragoon and go for an early Dragoon Zealot rush, but this Zealot is not going to do anything against the wall-in, so I think it was pretty much a waste there from Much. But Much, of course, knows what he's doing better than I do. Looks like another yellow unit. That's Flash's SCV actually wandering around the middle of the map. He still has not scouted Much yet. Much going for a fast expand after Cybernetics Core. So, interesting here. Flash so far has not shown any signs that he's going for an expansion yet. So Flash might be going for a 2-factory build. He has sealed his base off, so Much will not know what Flash is doing at this point. And Flash looks like he is going for a fast expand, actually. So neither player deciding to go for an early rush, so this is going to be a longer game here. And Flash continuing to dance around with a Zealot, and neither is really doing any damage to each other. Just trying to, I guess, test Much's micro, keep micro busy, Much busy in his micro. And that is something the Marine can do, is kill off a Zealot eventually, if the Protoss decides to hang the Zealot out there. Now Dragoon coming around and chasing the SCB array, so Flash once again with his later scouting is not going to be able to get into Much's base. By the way, I was talking to Vilda, my Swedish fan on sc2gg.com, and she's a writer, and I was telling her some ideas I've had for StarCraft short stories or novels. So let me tell you some of my terrible ideas while this game is in a lull. Alright, the first terrible idea is the scene is a bunch of Marines hanging out in front of an Terran outpost and fighting the Zerg, watching out for Zerg. And out of nowhere, a queen comes and parasites one of the Marines. And they're all looking around for a medic to do restoration. But unfortunately, the medics there do not have restoration. And there's no way of them getting it anytime soon. So they say to the poor Marine, you know, hey, sorry, Joe, but you know what we gotta do to you. And Joe's like, well, what does that mean? And it's like, yeah, you know, what we have to do is either shoot you and kill you so the parasite can't see us, or we have to let you just run off into no man's land where you can't harm us. So it's about Joe Marine's story, parasited Joe Marine's story as he's wandering around no man's land between the Zerg and the Terran base. Okay, so that's story idea number 1. Flash has now landed his command center, and Much has actually taken his mineral-only expansion, interesting enough, perhaps a little bit afraid of a 2-factory build, and that's actually a smart idea for Protoss players, if they don't really want that fast gas, but if they want that expansion nonetheless for minerals, this is a very good idea to go for that mineral-only first, because it defends against a 2-factory build very well. Flash also putting down a lot of turrets, so Flash is not going to be caught off guard this time by a drop. Of course, Andromeda, that does happen quite a lot with the Protoss dropping the Terran player, and since Flash has not got a scout in, he doesn't know what's going on, so he has to suspect something's coming, and once again, Much is going for a drop. This time he's going for that DT drop, but Flash is going to be prepared this time around. He has turrets everywhere in his base, and he is not going to be caught off guard, so I don't think this is going to work, and in fact, I think Much is going to be way behind Flash once this build fails. I'm gonna assume it's going to fail, because of all the turrets and the forces there. Flash also has a semi-wall in his front there. Another old school tactic that still is very, very good to go for that semi-contain with the semi-wall in with the supply depots and the barracks. And Much is going to be trying to drop in the back anyway. Of course, he needs to try to do some damage at least, and Much is going to spot that turret and the tanks over there. Tanks, oh, might even kill off that DT. Looks like they won't, but certainly Much is not going to have much luck there. He will have a little bit of map control for maybe another minute or two before Flash gets his scanners up, but afterwards his DTs will have not been very successful, and only now is Much getting his second gas, so this is going to set him behind quite a lot. Much now, Flash now getting his academy and his armory. We'll see if Much decides to go for some kind of early arbiters. That would be a little crazy, but it has been done before, and that is what going for the Templar Archives early on leads you to do as a Protoss player. And Mass Gateway is going down, so I sense that Much's ultimate goal is probably going to be that Arbiter Tribunal. And Observer's also going up for Much, so Much moving into mid to late game tech here. Flash has his base very well defended, and now only finally is he getting his factory production up. He's going to be probably building about 6 factories. Much expanding to the 12 o'clock island. That is another advantage of getting this early shuttle out. So, I mean, I'm not saying that a failed DT rush dooms the Protoss player, but it certainly sets him behind, as Much is set behind this game. What should doom the Protoss player is when you build 2 gateways inside a Terran's base and the Terran destroys them. But for some reason that didn't kill Much off in the first game. In fact, Much didn't lose because his rush failed. Much lost because Flash just played better in the late game, actually. So very strange there. I still think that Flash could have finished the game off with just Marines after the gateways went down, but maybe I'm wrong. Much going for another possible run here with his DTs. I don't think it's going to work though, unfortunately for him. There's just absolutely no holes in Flash's defenses here between his turrets. Much now pushing up with a couple of Dragoons, but once again, I don't think this is going to work right now. Looks like he's going to try to pick off that... No, he's not even going to be able to pick off that missile turret there. Flash has killed those neutral buildings on Andromeda that block off that portion of your base, and he's putting tanks there, so playing very, very cautious here. And yes, we are going to see the early Arbiters, I believe, from Much on Andromeda. Early carriers just really wouldn't make any sense. I think Pure tried to do that against... was it Flash? I think Pure tried to do it against Flash. No, it wasn't Flash. It was C. Yeah, Pure tried doing that against C in the OSL, and that didn't work at all. on Andromeda at least. It came close, but it just didn't work. I don't think he actually came that close, to be honest. He was running around with 6 or 7 carriers with no bases. That was very interesting to watch. So do check that out if you haven't yet. Pure versus C, OSL round of 36. Flash going for his science facility. So this is all within scanning range, of course, of the main base. Flash should have an idea of what's going on with Much. Okay, so my second StarCraft novel idea is that there is a portal that's opened up between our world, the human world, and the StarCraft world. And at first, a bunch of Terrans come out, and Terran